Hey everyone, welcome to the Saturday Night Live. So, we got a lot to discuss tonight. Lots of things have happened this week. Some things I've already covered, and we're going to kind of cover again, mainly because it was like opening up a can of worms. Basically, I put forth my opinion, and then I started catching grief. So, I want to make sure I cover that. We're also going to be covering things, obviously, like the stuff going to the SCOTUS, that Congress sent a letter to the DOJ to basically tell them to knock their crap off and to completely remove the NFA items from the registry, things of that nature. Rumor mill has Glock V series are available in certain areas. Ruger has responded not only to Everytown but to AG Tong. We'll get into it. Basically, they told him to piss off. FPC, the Firearms Policy Coalition, has called out Trump and put them on notice. They've also filed a brief with SCOTUS dealing with the Cook County case. It's an AR case, but it's coming out of Chicago. Nothing to do with us. And I want to cover some CCDL stuff. So we'll get into that. All right. I hope all of you are doing well. Had an absolutely fabulous class today. Someone did accidentally shoot the ceiling all the way in the back over at Wolf's. It was kind of funny. At least I thought so. I had to correct them and go on from there. But overall, the class was great. So some of you should be joining me. I'm dicking around with trying to get an ice cube into my glass without breaking the glass. There we go. Because I don't have to teach tomorrow. So I am going to have a little bit of this. Because I can. Just a little. We'll go from there. If you guys haven't tried 2A bourbon, it's good stuff right there. Just a little. Just a little. Put the stopper back in. These are a great group of guys. Met them down in Tennessee at Goals 2 years ago. And they have been a huge supporter of the channel. And we are a big supporter of them. So cheers. That is in celebration of everything going on in Connecticut. All right, let's get into it. So first and foremost, you know dang well that I always plug the merch. So down in the description below is going to be a link to the merch store where you can pick up your awesome merch, especially for the winter season coming up. We got tons of hoodies available. We got, the Navy way, that it's not Gander way. It's only queer at the pier. Guns and Coffee, which we know that's another channel I haven't done much with. Freedom Through Violence. This is to celebrate the 250th anniversary of America, because that is how we found our freedom, through violence. You got your 5.56, you got the FAFO, Guns and Ammo, which is always everybody's favorite. Though I Walk Through the Valley of Darkness, there's Dead Inside but Caffeinated, one of my personal favorites, and Disabled but Deadly, which I do own one of these and absolutely love it. We got the Houthi Hunty season, Dirt Todd, a bunch of other stuff. My love for SLFU and that. So, guys, you want to support the channel? Go pick up some merch. Really helps the channel. We're not doing any giveaways tonight. I know some of you are going to be bummed, but hey, can't give everything away all the time. But we do have giveaways coming up, and I will show those later. But let's get into it. So a couple of days ago, it was breaking that from the CCDL's Facebook page. Yes, I know, I'm one of those people that's still on Facebook. CCDL of Connecticut, so we all know that's the Connecticut Citizens Defense League. Breaking, CCDL and SAFF petition the Supreme Court to hear our case challenging Connecticut's ban on so-called assault weapons. This is the Grant v. Lamont case. Now, this case has been stalled out in New Haven for a very long time. We did ask the Second Circuit Court of Appeals to basically put a stay on the law, and, well, we lost that one, so it is what it is. But prior to this one, we had this court case, which is going to the Supreme Court, and this one is Lamont. So it's Teresa Flanagan v. Lamont. And this one is coming from Gun Owners of America, Gun Owners of California, Coalition of New Jersey Firearm Owners, Tennessee Firearms Association, Tennessee Firearms Foundation, the Virginia Citizens Defense League, Virginia Citizens Defense Foundation, America's Future, U.S. Constitutional Rights, Legal Defense Fund, Conservative Legal Defense Fund, Education Fund, blah, blah, blah. So I've read through it. Not much to say. It's the usual arguments, but you did not see the CCDL on there because they have their own, and they partnered with SAF, the Second Amendment Foundation. Now, why am I hashing this again? Because I said in the last video that the CCDL needs to do better at communicating. I said this on a Monday. Tuesday, they had their meeting, and they reiterated they do not discuss ongoing litigation. Okay, I get that, but I wanted an update. That's all I wanted. Now, I reached out to Mr. Grant himself. I said, hey, Eddie, congratulations. I heard this is going all the way up to SCOTUS. Do you have the petition for cert? And he basically came back and said, no, I didn't even know this happened. No one communicated to me that this was happening. So even Eddie, who's the plaintiff, was not in the loop. And that was one of my larger gripes with the whole thing, that even Eddie doesn't know. Now, remember, like I said, CCDL always toes the line that they do not discuss litigation, ongoing litigation. Fair enough. Fine. I just wanted updates. Like, hey, what's going on? I thought SAF put out a great press release when it came to this. It was in the last video. Again, they did not discuss their strategy. They didn't discuss a lot of stuff, but what they said was pretty much all I wanted to hear. They said, hey, the Second Circuit read this wrong. They interpreted Brewer wrong. It's bad, blah, blah, blah. This is what we're doing now. And I was satisfied. And then I found this. So this is Bearing Arms Cam & Co. Now, he does have 265,000 subscribers. As far as I could tell, he is out of California. So why am I showing you this? Well, this is what I saw. I'm going to play it real quick, and you let me know.
Sullivan up there in the nutmeg state of Connecticut, talking about the challenge to the state's ban on commonly owned semi-automatic firearms, as well as the Connecticut Attorney General going after a popular semi-automatic pistol. Take a look and a listen. Holly, thanks so much for coming on the program. It's good to see you again.
Thank you for having me, Cam.
Absolutely. Busy times in Connecticut. So let's talk about the good news, at least goodish news first here. Challenge to Connecticut's ban on so-called assault weapons. This brought by Second Amendment Foundation and the Connecticut Citizens Defense League. This case has now reached the Supreme Court, right?
Yeah. Yes, it has. The request for injunctive relief, yes.
Okay. So that was where I was going to go here. So this case is still technically ongoing, right? We have not had a trial on the merits, even though this case has been going on for, 3 years now? Is that right?
Yeah, it's been a few years, for sure.
Amazing. Boy, the wheels of justice grind slowly.
They certainly do, and I think that's important for folks to understand across the board, no matter where you are, whatever.
All right, so this whole video goes on for a good 10 minutes or so, but literally they just said, we do not discuss this. And then Holly, who's the president of the CCDL, was on there literally discussing the case with a GunTube channel that is not one of ours. It's not Lock and Load. It's not mine. It's not the Connecticut Gun Bench. Nope. Somebody far away. Yeah, that's great. I'm glad, but you're on there discussing it, but it's not with us. It's with other people. And that was my biggest thing. I was like, why are you discussing it with us? Letting us know what's going on. The big thing is I wanted to see the petition for cert. I wanted to know what the CCDL and the Second Amendment Foundation's argument was going forward to the Supreme Court when, and I hope to God it is heard, whether it be this one or it's going to be Flanagan v. Lamont or hell, Chicago's. I don't care. As long as one of these gets before the court and they can hear it and then crush these stupid unconstitutional laws dealing with ARs and all the other like firearms and high capacity magazines, what they call high capacity magazines and assault weapons. Guys, I don't want to get beat up in the comment section. I know these are made up terms. It's a standard capacity magazine and it's not even a modern sporting rifle. Don't even give me that. It's just a rifle. Okay? So I was able to find the petition of writ for cert via SAF. Now, they put it out, no problem. Yet, CCL is very mum about it. But when you look at their posts, which I will pull up a post, and don't, listen, I support the CCDL. I'm a member, but I just really wish they would do a better job at communicating sometimes. That's it. That's all I want. So when you go to the CCL page on Facebook, they do give an update. This is from a day ago, which is good. Then they show Holly's interview. Dinner tickets are available. And there are a few posts where they're just asking for donations because, yes, going to the Supreme Court is expensive. But sometimes I just want to know, like, a little more transparency. Like, hey, what's going on with this? What's happening with this? Just trying to keep everybody informed. Because, listen, you got to look at the numbers, okay? The CCDL is, I think, like 45,000 members deep. And if you go to the meetings, it's the same, like, 100 people at most. So out of 44, we'll go on the low side, 44,000 members, 100 people show up for the meetings. And it's the same old. That's just my thing. Okay, I'm not trying to beat them up too bad. I'm just saying. I think they need to do better at communicating. So let's take a look at this cert. It starts with this is 211 pages long. I am not trying to read all 211 pages for you. But this is the gist of it. Last term the court denied certiorari in Snope v. Brown, which we were really hoping it would be picked up, which involved a challenge of the constitutionality of Maryland's ban on AR's platform rifle. In a statement respecting the denial, Justice Kavanaugh observed that there was a strong argument that AR-15s are in common use by law-abiding citizens and therefore are protected by the Second Amendment. Okay, so Kavanaugh says, hey, it's in common use, it's protected. Second Circuit, this is SCOTUS, a justice. So the Second Circuit here, for us, said that ARs are dangerous or unusual, thus we can ban them, even though Bruin said dangerous and unusual. Then we had another circuit court out west that said, no, ARs aren't even protected under the Second Amendment. We've had other court of appeals were like, yes, they are protected. So these circuit courts are just all over the map. They're screwing Bruin up or just downright ignoring what it says. They're ignoring parts of Heller and they're trying to mold it and manipulate it to fit their own narratives, like what we did here at the Second Circuit when they used dangerous or unusual. But under Bruin, it was dangerous and unusual. So there's my 2 cents on that. They go on to say, there's just a lot of mumbo jumbo here. Further explained that analytically difficult to distinguish the AR-15 from handguns at issue in Heller. And then he concluded that the court should, presumably will address the AR-15 issue soon in the next term or two. That's why we're hoping that it's one of our cases, because Kavanaugh literally said he was looking forward to the cases coming out of Connecticut. Not so much Grant v. Lamont, but the one from the GOA. So let's hope. Following that denial, the Second Circuit joined many circuits that have applied this court's decision to New York State Rifle and Pistol Association v. Bruin and refused to enjoin a ban on so-called assault weapons, including the AR-15 rifle, which this court recently called the most popular rifle in the country. Smith & Wesson Brands v. Mexicanos, where the Mexican government was trying to sue Smith & Wesson, which was a clear violation of PLACA, because they're enabling cartels to do cartel things versus the corrupt Mexican government isn't crushing the cartels like they should. But we're not here to discuss, international things. But Supreme Court said, hey, Mexico, you pretty much can F off. You can't sue our companies that manufacture guns because PLACA, right? Which we all know HB 7042 is a basically FU to PLACA that Connecticut came up with based on what they did to Remington with the Sandy Hook families, and it's a shit show. But we'll keep going. Under the court's precedent, the firearm cannot be banned if it's in common use for lawful purposes. That's from Heller, which AR-15s are. But if the most popular rifle in the country is not in common use, it is hard to see that phrase could possibly mean. The Second Circuit nonetheless held that the ban of the rifle does not violate the Second Amendment, and that it is not alone. Lower courts have uniformly upheld bans on AR-15s, but while courts have been uniform in result, they have not been uniform in rationale. And they often expressed confusion about the court's precedent. The court should intervene and address the confusion by making clear that its precedent mean what they say, so on and so forth. Basically, this is what Bruin means, this is what Heller means, so on and so forth, and stop this BS. And it goes on. Basically, Saf's argument, and the one from CCDL, which is this one, is one of the most clear-cut arguments for why the Supreme Court should finally stop being a bunch of cowards and take one of these cases on and crush it once and for all. No, you cannot ban the most common, most popular rifle in this country. So hopefully this will be heard at the end of the month. Maybe it's picked up this term. They might push it off again like they were doing with the Maryland one, which they just kept pushing it off, and then just said, no, we're not doing it. So, after the live, I will try and link this petition for cert in the description below, and you can go look at it yourself. It is Grant v. Ravella, which used to be Grant v. Lamont. So, you can read it for yourself. Again, 211 pages. And you can see there's fish spines attached to it, right there, and a few others. A few names you might know, but Greg Fishbein we know because he is local, right out of Wallingford. So, there you go. Now, let's get to the FPC. FPC calls on President Trump to end defense of federal gun control laws. This came out November 11th, so just a couple of days ago. The Firearms Policy Coalition today issued the following statement condemning the Trump administration's ongoing defense of federal gun control laws, calling President Trump to make immediate action to restore the integrity of his pledge to protect Second Amendment rights. Since Trump signed the Protecting Second Amendment Rights executive order in February, his Department of Justice has exactly done the opposite, relentlessly defending federal government's unconstitutional gun control regime instead of using the Justice Department's vast power to secure Americans' rights and keep and bear arms. The DOJ has used it to fight against the people, even taking extreme positions in court to resist injunctions and block the government's enforcement of gun laws that federal judges have already found unconstitutional. So why am I bringing this up? Oh, because FPC, they're not just like, oh, Trump, rah, rah, rah. They're literally crapping on Trump, saying, hey, you need to do this. And this kind of comes into play with some things that came to light. So this came out, and then this happened. This is coming from the GOA. Judge Hendricks has granted AG Pam Bondi and the DOJ's request for an extension to respond to the one big, beautiful lawsuit, which is seeking to finish the job that Congress failed to do and gut the registration requirements for suppressors and short-barreled rifles. So the DOJ had up to, I think it was yesterday, to respond. So this is coming forth because they got rid of the $200 tax stamp. Okay. Come January 1st, SBRs, short-barreled shotguns, others, and suppressors will no longer be taxed. No more $200 tax stamp. Being said, you still have to register those items. You just don't have to pay anything. Now, the NFA has always been upheld in the courts because it was a tax scheme. The registry, it was argued that it's a way to track who and who has not paid the $200 tax stamp. Those $200 are gone. There's no reason to register these guns because there's no more tax stamp. And the DOJ has kind of hee-hawed around it. It's like, no, you still got to do this. ATF's like, yep, still got to do it. So Congress, this is going on, but Congress stepped in. Let me bring this other one up. And they sent this letter on November 10th to Pam Bondi. Okay. Dear Attorney General Bondi, we write to inform the Department of Justice of Congress position and intent regarding ongoing litigation challenging the NFA. Registration and transfer requirements for non-taxed NFA firearms following the enactment of President Trump's landmark Second Amendment victory in the One Big Beautiful Bill. In enacting this bill into law, Congress affirmed its position that the taxation and registration provisions of the NFA are inseparably linked, and has expressed its intent to repeal the NFA's registration and transfer requirements by eliminating the associated taxes on certain firearms and silencers, or suppressors, depending on what you want to call them. Therefore, we urge the DOJ to adopt and advance Congress's stated position in all litigation concerning these provisions to ensure that congressional intent is accurately represented and upheld before the courts. Basically, this letter is saying, yo, DOJ, Pam Bondi, listen, you need to go and argue that, yes, the registration is wrong, and we don't have to register SBRs, suppressors, short-barreled shotguns, and things like that. This letter was not just sent by one, it was sent by a whole bunch of people. They all co-signed it. I don't have all their signatures. I just grabbed the important information. But it said, yes, when we eliminated the tax stamp, that also meant the registration, which is good. So at least Congress is on board with this. And since One Big Beautiful Bill is law, Congress is like, yeah, we meant that too. So we'll see what the DOJ does. They did get an extension. Right here you can see that Judge Hendricks granted AG Pam Bondi and the DOJ's request for an extension on the One Big Beautiful Bill lawsuit. So we will see. But this is coming from Silencer Shop Foundation, that it's a plaintiff saying that, hey, we shouldn't have to register anything. So we shall see, guys. Hopefully it all works out in our favor, and all these registration BS for our short-barreled rifles, suppressors, all that good stuff goes away. It'd be nice if the Supreme Court picks up our AR case, crushes that, so now ARs are legal, standard capacity magazines are legal, and then on top of it, the DOJ says, yeah, you're right, we have no tax, we have no way to actually track because there is no tax, so we shouldn't be able to track, and then get rid of the registration altogether, and then SBRs will abound. That's fantastic. I'm all for it. Suppressors, SBRs, it'll be awesome. It's going to be a good day when this happens. Of course, new president gets elected, things could shift wildly the other way. So get your stuff while you can at that point. So speaking of getting things while you can, listen, it's November 15th, guys, and we are 15 days away from Glock stop shipping Gen 3, Gen 4, Gen 5s for civilian consumption. They'll still be available for military and Leos, but not for you. So get those Gen 3, Gen 4, Gen 5s while you can. I know Lock and Load has the coveted G19 in a glass case. I saw it. Non-MOS. So if you're in the market, guys, I'm just letting you know. I'm trying to be vague so I don't get demonetized on this video. All right. Now, since Glock bent the knee, I did talk about it. Well, you know that Everytown sent a letter to Ruger, and Ruger's a Connecticut company. And they basically CC'd Tong. And then I did another video because Tong threatened them and said, hey, if you don't stop producing RXMs, we are going to sue you into oblivion. Okay. So Ruger was kind of quiet at first, and then they finally gave a statement. But RXMs are available. You should go pick one up. It is just a Gen 3 Glock clone. All right, Ruger responds to Attorney General's lawsuit warning. This came out yesterday. When Connecticut Attorney General William Tong warned Strum Ruger and Company that it might be litigation on the horizon relating to the RXM semi-automatic pistol, which allegedly can be illegally altered into firing fully automatic, the company quickly responded. So, okay, first of all, let's break that one down. Everytown's letter specifically said there is no evidence that Ruger RXMs can be modified like this. And then Tong came out and said they have videos of it. And like I said in the video, I'm sorry, but AG Tong and any of his little lawyers that work for him couldn't tell you the difference between a Glock, an RXM, Shadow Systems, or a Colt Python. They're idiots. They don't know shit about guns. So, there. As noted by Connecticut, Ruger's reply was pretty straightforward. Remember, I did get a response from Ruger too, and I read it on last week's live, and it was very vague. It didn't even address what I wanted, what I asked. I'm like, come on, guys. All right, Ruger says that we have a long history of corporate responsibility in manufacturing safe, quality products for law-abiding citizens here in Connecticut and across the United States. Ruger said, we are disappointed that no one from the Attorney General Tong's office made an effort to talk with us in advance of the letter you reference in the related press release. That said, we offered to travel to Hartford to meet with Attorney General Tong. TGM reached out to Ruger, and a spokesman replied. So if you don't know what TGM is, Gun Mag, the Gun Mag. Reached out to Ruger, and the spokesperson replied via email, noting, we are proud of our reputation for developing and selling robust, reliable, safe, and lawful products, including the RXM pistol, to our law-abiding customers. As our corporate motto states, we are arms makers for responsible citizens. And like I've always said, your little hood boogers that are going out and converting these Glocks are not buying them at the local FFL. They're stealing them, or they're breaking into they're breaking into homes and stealing guns there, or breaking into FFLs and stealing guns from there. It is not someone who walks in and slaps down their Connecticut pistol permit and buys one legally. For some reason, it's Glock's fault. It's Ruger's fault. It's not the criminal's fault. In a subsequent message, TGM was advised of Ruger's president, Todd Seyffert's reaction. As you know, actions like these target legal manufacturers and owners and not the criminals that are legally altering the firearms and then further using them in a crime. Tong's 5-page letter to Sarah Colbert, Ruger's vice president, general counsel, and corporate secretary, advised that recently enacted legislation in Connecticut, that'd be HB 7042, where Strum Ruger was founded in the city of Southport in 1949, required that members of the firearms industry, including Ruger, must enact reasonable controls to prevent the sale or distribution of legal firearms that can easily be converted to illegal firearms. There is no evidence that the RXM can be converted. Plain and simple. Everytown admitted that. They said, but we feel and we think that maybe in the future it might be. Well, that's all fine and dandy, but no. Anyone that knows anything about guns knows you can do a lot of bad things to a gun, illegal things, with very little knowledge. Just saying. In a subsequent paragraph, Tong writes, as you are aware, recent reports indicate that a similarly situated manufacturer, Glock Inc., will be announcing its discontinuance of previous pistol models and updated modifications to the new pistol models, which purport to make it more difficult to attach machine gun conversion devices, or MCDs. This is a reference to the highly publicized Glock switch device, which is used by third parties to illegally convert Glock pistols to function as full automatics. Again, illegal. It's illegal people doing illegal things illegally to guns. It's not like Glock makes these things. Glock doesn't have anything to do with them. They are made by some third party. So, I know Ruger sounds like they're just kind of beating around the bush, but they are standing their ground, guys. They literally said Ruger plans to keep the RXM in production and expand the line. This is coming from guns.com. While Glock is leaving its legacy decisions to be in the rear view, Ruger has resolved to expand its RXM pistol family. That's right. Not only are they keeping the RXM, they're going to expand. So to me, when they said this, they pretty much told Tong and Everytown to piss off. Not only, they're like doubling, tripling down. Not only are we keeping the RXM, but in fact, we're expanding. Good for Ruger. That's why I'm saying, you know what, guys? We got to support these companies. Now, I'm a big fan of Glock. I love Glocks. But yeah, it kind of feels like they bent a knee. They caved to lawsuits and laws coming out of California, Connecticut, New York, Massachusetts, Illinois, Washington, and several other blue states. Versus Ruger, where they're standing strong and basically telling these people they can just piss off. So that's pretty based of Ruger. I like that. When guys, you should support companies like this. I'm not saying don't support Glock. I'm just saying it's pretty based of Ruger to pretty much tell Tong to piss off. So that's just my 2 cents on it. And this came out on the 12th. So again, stores have them. I know some stores out there actually have V-Series. I don't know how they're getting them. They're not supposed to ship till December, but I've seen some advertisements saying, hey, V-Series in stock. Come get them. I've reached out to Glock to try and get one for me, but I haven't heard squat. So there it is. That's it. So, I mean, that's pretty much a lot of the big gun news that's been going on for us here in Connecticut. There were a few things I saw this week that kind of piqued my interest, and I thought I'd share them with you. This one is coming out of Suffolk. It is a special operations news site. And I guess Italy is probing alleged sniper tourism during the Bosnian War. This just came out 2 days ago. Why am I bringing it up? Because it's Italian authorities investigating claims that wealthy foreigners, including not only Italians, right there, Americans and Russians, paid up to £80,000 or $92,800 to act as a weekend sniper and shoot civilians during the 90s siege of Sarajevo, the capital of Bosnia, so on and so forth. The alleged sniper tourists, linked to far-right circles and passionate about weapons, reportedly paid Bosnian Serb forces to carry out attacks with higher fees paid to target children or armed men, witnesses and investigators say. This is insane. I have never heard anything like this. Now, I know plenty of people pay a lot of money to go over and shoot like a giraffe, shoot a lion, and yes, that meat is generally used for the tribes that are there to help feed them, and they're not shooting a healthy critter. They are shooting like sickly, older critters. I saw this because every morning I get an email from SOFX, and one of my buddies actually runs this, so that's why I support him. I just thought it was nutty. I was like, Italians are investigating that Americans are going over and shooting people from the 90s? I was like, man, that's nuts. I wonder how they're going to prove it. That's absolutely insane. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section, because here in about 10 minutes, I'm going to try to read through some of your comments. So get in there and chat, guys. Get in super chats, whatever it is. Super thanks, all that good stuff. So I thought this was funny. I was like, okay, that's cool. I mean, it's not cool, but why would you pay that kind of money? Just join the military. They pay you to do it. I did see this little political cartoon. It is dealing with Struck versus Platkin, which is in New Jersey. It's got nothing to do with Connecticut, but California's rule, 1 gun in 30 days, struck down. New Jersey has 1 in 30 days also, and they're going after it. The Firearms Policy Coalition has filed a motion, I'm reading from over here, to amend the complaint and add the NRA as a co-plaintiff for Struck v. Platkin, New Jersey, the 1 in 30 purchase ban lawsuit. Great. That's cool. Yeah, it was found unconstitutional. Yes, Connecticut has a 3 in 30 for normal people. If you're an instructor, you get 6 in 30 days. It's all unconstitutional. How can the government limit things that you can buy? I think it's an absolute travesty. I'd like to know where our lawsuit is against Connecticut. That's what I want to know. I haven't heard squat about it. At least FPC is going after and doing all these things. I think it's funny that the NRA joined in, like jumping in at the last minute. The NRA is just a bunch of FUDs, but it is what it is. I found this, and I wanted to share it with you. I thought it was funny. I was like, this is good. This is from the Second Amendment Foundation, and it came out. I saw it yesterday. To me, this argument is amazing, and it literally breaks the brain of the AJ here. All right, let me play it real quick for you.
Is there any other example where a citizen of Oregon would need to take a class before they could exercise their constitutional right?
I don't know. And I don't know if I don't think of driving as a constitutional right. I assume it's not.
Not.
I think the answer to that is no, but I hesitate to say that definitively.
Sure. I just wanted to play that because this guy is a senior assistant attorney general in Oregon. And he can't just right out the gate say, no. Yeah, your Second Amendment is the only one where a lot of states require you to take a class, get certified, and then ask permission to exercise it. Imagine if they did this with any other right. I just thought it was funny. And the way this guy was like, oh, geez, driving's a privilege. It always has been. He's like, oh, I don't know. It makes you think, like, how dumb are these people? Now, I mean, he's a lawyer. He's risen up to senior assistant attorney general for Oregon. I'd like to assume he's a pretty smart guy. Didn't sound like it. Let me know what you guys think. And I wanted to touch on this. This is for all of my students. And I've taught many, many, many students for the basic pistol safety course. And I always implore them to get more training. Please don't let that ever be the last class you take, because you're going to be setting yourself up for failure. I joke with them. I always say, hey, by the time you're out of this class, you are not John Wick. You are just Cheddar Bob. And then I saw this. It says, let's play another round of owning a gun makes you a self-defender, like owning a guitar will make you a musician. This is coming out of Florida. This is Florida man. I shared this on my Facebook page, Gun Guru Actual. And if you guys follow me, whether it be Facebook, Instagram, or any of the other social medias, it's Gun Guru Actual. I put up some funny things. I mean, the one reel that's been going absolutely insane the past couple of days, I put up a still shot of what happens to a deer when you shoot it with a 7mm. People are like, oh my God. Yep, that's what it does. So, all right, so let's get into this. Our intrepid hero shows up to confront a burglar in his friend's store restaurant at 3 a.m. In one pick, he draws a gun from his pocket. First mistake. And then he has to take the holster off and set it down on the billiards table. This is suboptimal. Your holster should stay secure when you put it in, whether it be in your pocket or in your waist. Ditch the Uncle Mike's crappy holsters. And it goes on and on and on. Pretty plays for small guns and pockets. I recommend Michael holsters for small semi-autos and revolvers, wilderness. I don't recommend ever putting a gun in a pocket. That's idiotic, because you know what? People are dumb and they just throw loose change in their pockets and other things, which could interfere with your draw, could interfere with the gun. It could cause your gun to have an ND or an AD. Put the gun in a proper holster. I don't care where you get your holster from, whether it be Bravo Concealment, Muddy River, Patriot Wear Holsters. It's a local company, and Michelle and her husband make amazing holsters. Get one of theirs. Next, our guy tries to fire the gun, but it goes click. That makes for a bad day. Now, why did it go click? Because he was carrying the gun with the chamber empty. Right there. Empty chamber. You know when I teach my classes? I tell them there's only one way to carry a gun in America. It's with a fully loaded mag and a round in the chamber. Because you don't have time. It's pull, point, shoot. You do not have time to pull, rack, get sight picture, and then engage. You're behind the power curve. Bad things will happen. Well, this FUD forgot that's how his gun was set up. Thus, pulled, point, squeeze, click. So, it might be because it was stored and he got dressed at 3 a.m. to go confront the burglar. But as a reminder that the chamber empty carry leads to a negative outcome for real-life gunfights. In Florida, burglary was defined as forcible felony, blah, 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 blah. Okay, next. He deletes the tap to fix the problem. Now, people always ask me, why do we tap the bottom of the firearm? Right? And I'm like, that's to make sure that your magazine is fully seated, because sometimes it might not be. Sometimes that round coming up gets a little cockeyed, a little slap on the bottom, shocks the whole thing, straightening it out. At that point, he decides not to shoot the guy and instead keeps the gun in hand while throwing chairs and other items at the burglar, while his friend and the owner proceeds to beat the stuffing out of the burglar. He finally puts the gun down in favor of a pull cue to whomp the burglar, who eventually was arrested when the cops arrived and charged the burglary and 2 counts of assault. Blurry photos, guys, but here, draws gun, puts holster down. This FUD over here goes click, and this is where he just starts heaving things. So let's talk about this right here first. When we do advanced training on a flat range, I've done courses and I've helped teach courses where we put objects in people's hands, whether it be a soda can. Definitely no bourbon on the gun range. We'll do a soda can, coffee. Right-handed, it's in your right hand. Drinking, and we're just BSing. And then we scream threat. I've seen people switch hands and then throw. I've seen people with it in their right hand and throw it. That's all wasting time. You're holding it, taking a sip, threat. Let it go. Go straight into your draw. Just drop whatever's in your hands. Most people want to switch hands, which I think is funny. So this guy pulls his gun out, has to pull the holster off, and then decides to put the holster down. instead of just dropping it. And then when it goes click, you don't even recover properly. Tap, rack, and engage. No. He just holds the gun and then throws things. That's a FUD. That's just me. I just can't with these people. I thought it was funny. I mean, I literally laughed at this. I was like, oh, man. I don't know who this John Correa is, but I thought it was funny. And Mrs. Guru sent me a bunch of stories. I'm going to try to get to them, but I didn't know if you guys saw this. This is coming out of Hartford. St. Francis Hospital security guard was arrested for carrying a ghost gun. So, he's a security guard. They go through background checks, all this stuff. I would think, right? Because they are there to secure patients and all this other stuff. So, this just happened yesterday. Hospital security guard has been arrested for carrying a ghost gun in his backpack at St. Francis Hospital in Hartford. I thought ghost guns were illegal in Connecticut. We have a law that says they are. Didn't stop this guy, though. Police said they received a report that the backpack containing a firearm was left unattended on the 5th floor of the hospital. Responding officers found the gun, equipped with a large capacity magazine and a threaded barrel inside. There's a bunch of felonies right there. Authorities said the firearm was a ghost gun, felony, with no serial number. Officers determined that the backpack belonged to a security officer working at the hospital. The worker admitted that the handgun belonged to him and then was taken into custody. He's facing charges including carrying a pistol without a permit, possession of a firearm with no serial number, and more. Well, obviously, having high cap magazine or standard capacity or whatever it was, threaded barrel, that makes it an assault weapon, which he's in illegal possession of assault weapon. It's a Class D felony. The incident underscores the ongoing effort by HPD patrol officers and the Violent Crimes Unit to remove illegal guns from the community, regardless of where they're discovered, and ensure that the weapons posing a public safety threat are seized and properly investigated, police said in a statement. A St. Francis Hospital spokesperson issued the following statement. Our safety of our patients, colleagues, and community is the utmost importance. St. Francis Hospital works closely with the Hartford Police Department and other municipalities to ensure that we maintain a safe work environment for all. Anyone with information about illegal firearm activity in the city is asked to call. Yeah, I'm sure people are getting right on top of that one. Sure. All right. So all these gun laws that we have literally did nothing to stop this. We would assume a law-abiding citizen to blatantly break the laws. Gun laws don't work. They just don't. They only work for people who are willing to follow them. Apparently, he wasn't willing to follow them. I mean, it's not super hard to get a permit in the state of Connecticut. It's just kind of a pain in the ass. All right, I got about 10 minutes left, so let me get into your chat, see what's going on. So Mike G says, Todd, great listen yesterday. Thanks. Mike, I'm glad you guys enjoyed it. So yesterday, I did a private lesson with a couple of great clients. And we spent the first half hour doing a warm-up, kind of get you in the groove, get you back into the feel of shooting, and then we mixed it up. So what we did was, I had a full silhouette target. It's got, your A zones, so on and so forth. So I put 4 pieces of tape on there. There's 1, 2, 3, and 4 was this long strip. They were different colors. 1, 2, and 3 were blue. 4 is this long orange piece of tape. And you have to go in order. So you shoot 1, shoot 2, shoot 3, shoot 4. And you do a couple iterations of this. It's just kind of getting you used to it. You're working on transitions, learning how to drive your gun by eyes and then sights versus a lot of people just try to drive from one target to another via the sights, and you overshoot, and that's a problem. So we're teaching them, like, drive with your eyes, get your sights there, engage, look to the next target, put the sights there, engage, so on and so forth. At the end, We had fun. One was shooting, his spouse, she got to call out numbers. And now you're going from not going 1, 2, 3, 4. They're going like 1, 3, 4, 4, 2, 1, 1. And now you're moving around erratically trying to figure it out. It's a really good drill. You have drills like that that are also done with playing cards. Done those plenty of times. You can hang up, I mean, if you're really salty, hang up all 52 cards. And then your shooting partner calls out suits. You know, like 2 of hearts. They're not in order. Now you got to go through all these cards, find the 2 of hearts, and put a round into it. And you're using a shot timer or something like that to really push yourself. It's a fun drill to run. I recommend it to everybody. Eric says, good evening, Todd. Good evening. I hope everyone's having a lovely evening. The cult leader says, yo. Nice. Kat says, sup, people. Eric comes back and goes, I was surprised to see that she didn't do this on any of the 2-way YouTube influencers. Yes. Yes. That's what we were talking about. So, I can't say too much, guys. But today, yes, I was doing my normal basic pistol safety course. But one of the breaks, when I went next door, I was talking with Josh. And we all know Josh. Josh has Lock and Load podcast out there. And I was talking to Derek. Derek runs the Connecticut Gun Bench YouTube channel. All 3 of our channels, you pay attention to all 3, we're going to keep you out of trouble, and we're going to keep you up to speed on all the things happening here in Connecticut. We all have our own little take on things. Lock and Load podcast tends to deal with local things in Connecticut. Josh does a great job talking with different politicians like Sampson and a few other things. Congratulations, Josh. He won city council in Southington. Good on you. That's Josh's niche. I cover the laws, not only here, but across the nation, Tennessee. I do reviews on awesome gear, like this belt that's right over here from Core Essentials. Remember, guys, if you buy anything from coreessentials.com, use the promo code GURU10 to get 10% off. So, they just shared the video. It's a great, I mean, I wear Core belts every day, so love it. So, I do not only that, but I do a bunch of other stuff too. And then Connecticut Gun Bench. He does a lot of gun laws here in Connecticut, but more like cultural issues too. So a little something for everybody there. I recommend you just subscribe to all 3. It is funny though, because when news breaks, we all communicate to each other, and then we're rushing to push these videos out, seeing who can beat who. You know, when Tong sent the letter to Ruger, Lock and Load beat me. Josh beat me to it, and I was like, oh. So I had to get mine out right away too. Sometimes I beat him. It's all fun and games, guys. AY says, good evening. Oh, speaking of which, before I forget, I just want to say, if anybody that won anything last week, everything's been delivered. I met, because I wanted to deliver like the 20 millimeter metal tube in person. So, Jose, it was great meeting you. Granted, it was later in the evening. I hope you enjoy it. It's a great display piece. It is something that will definitely be a conversation starter. And then met the other winner up at Lock and Load. They got their patches and their stickers and the Glock grip and all that good stuff. So we got more stuff coming up. And I will give you guys a quick sneak peek of it, and then we'll get right back into the chats. Coming up, we have a 357-38 9mm cleaning kit right there from Gunmaster. So got a good little cleaning kit there for your handguns. And then I got a 223-556 cleaning kit from Gunmaster. These are great to have at the range. Throw them in your range bag and all that. And we'll be doing that soon. We'll do 2 different drawings for that, but I think that'll be good. And I've decided that kicked it around for a while. I think this is a good idea. It's going to be a while before we do it, but I think it's a great idea. A great idea. So you know, if you've ever taken one of my classes, how I talk about my Kevlar sheetrock, because I got some of it. And Kevlar sheetrock is pretty neat stuff. Unfortunately, you can't really buy it on the open market. But I was able to acquire pretty close to a 4x8 sheet of it. It's big and it's heavy. And I'm thinking, once we hit 10,000 subs, it's not a guarantee, but this is my idea. Once we hit 10,000 subs, maybe we do a range day, and all of you guys can come out with all your cool stuff, and everybody can take turns trying to punch through this big sheet of Kevlar sheetrock. I think that's a pretty cool idea. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you think it's a good idea. If you'd participate, obviously we'd have RSOs. It'd all be super safe, and probably try and pick up some sponsors and all that good stuff. But let me know what you guys think. Pete says, again, this is why the state's 2A fight will not win. The people are running this fight are just not current in the culture war and modern media. Listen, sometimes I feel like there's just a bunch of FUDs out there. FUDs are okay, just not my cup of tea. Gunslinger says, hello, everyone. Pete comes back with, why not have you a YouTube channel? Why, Jesus, what do you not range days and simple things? I've been a member for years, and they have no idea what they are doing. I didn't say that. You did. I agree. Eric goes, lucked out and I picked up a G23 a week before the Glock announcement. Good on you. G23s are nice. Brian Warren says, what up? What up, Brian? Brian, apple pie coming your way. Because, yes, today, while I was teaching class, taking everybody to the range and having a good old time, Mrs. Guru was making 12 apple pies. It's her annual apple pie giveaway. We give away for friends and family. She makes a ton of apple pies, and they're for Thanksgiving, Christmas, and all that good stuff. They are amazing. So, Mrs. Guru is an amazing baker. And trust me, people that have had her stuff want to know how I'm not like 400 pounds. And I just simply tell them, I don't eat it. She makes it, I taste it, I'm like, oh my God, that's great. And then we give it away to everybody. Because I don't, it's not that I don't want it, it screws up my diet, screws up her diet. We really try to eat healthy and clean, and she enjoys baking. So we give it away. So we feed everybody else. We just make everybody else, happy. But we're going to eat that apple pie for Thanksgiving. I'm tearing into it. I don't care. Stupid YouTube jumped. All right, see, Eric. Everytown says there's no evidence the RXM is being converted into full automatic. Yeah, AG Dong, yes, says that he has videos of it. Pretty much, yep. Let me scroll through, see what else. 4 Boxes Diner thinks that the Grant V. Lamont case, if granted cert, will likely go in our favor, and 2A goes. Yes, I believe so too. And then Eric writes, I accept your Kevlar sheetrock challenge. Yes. Just so you know, I did have a small piece of it. I tested at the range. I shot it with an M855 A1 round out of a 20-inch barrel at 7 yards. Stopped dead in some tracks. Like, did not punch through. So, this stuff's pretty thick, guys. We'd have to try some stout rounds. It is rated for 7.62, point blank, over and over and over. So, I don't want to just go straight into like, a 50. We'll start small. We'll start with 22s, work our way up through handgun calibers, and then, smaller rifle rounds, larger rifle rounds. And we'll try to make a day of it. I'm sure most of you guys would enjoy that. So, but it is 2000, and that is time for me to go. You guys go enjoy the rest of your Saturday night. I am not teaching tomorrow, thus I am going to definitely be enjoying my Saturday night. I'm going to go relax, hang out with the missus, and my kid, and my pups. And if you haven't already, please like and share this video. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do so. Make sure you toggle that notification bell. This way you're always notified when I put up a new video or I do one of these Saturday Night Lives. And I'll see all of you guys in the next video. Enjoy your Saturday night. I will chat with you later.